You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, we will hear from some local Hispanics on how they are celebrating their heritage this time of year.
Plus, a shooting in Joplin yesterday leaves one juvenile injured.
And we've got ourselves a chilly and breezy start to the day. It's going to warm up and the winds are going to increase as well. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. We hit the same time every morning. It's 7 o'clock and 40 seconds.
So punctual.
We are right on time every morning. And here we are on this finally Friday in the 4 states. We got a great weekend weather-wise. We got a lot of great weather and some big celebrations yesterday in the area.
Oh yes, it was the Day of the Dead. So locally, some Hispanics and Latinos found ways to celebrate their heritage, even being far from their home country.
KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to them and shows us some of the traditions.
I was married for 18 years. One thing that my husband loved, he loved his bananas and beans. So I have the big traditional bananas. And because of our marriage, I have the Catrina and the Catrina. The coco guitar is there as well because he loved his music.
Carted resident Maria Sanchez put up an altar in her living room to celebrate the life of her husband, Carlos Sanchez, and her dad, Jose Apala. Her goal is to keep their memory alive.
I want my children and grandkids to, come and see the altar and all the things that decorate us. And, it's very important to teach our second and third generation to love our ancestors.
In a lot of Hispanic and Latino cultures, people go to cemeteries in the Day of the Dead. They clean the graves and bring drinks and food, including pan de muerto, or bread of the dead. The round orange-based bread is said to bring back sweet memories of loved ones. Every year, El Palomito, a local bakery in Carthage, sells this special item. What makes the bread special in itself, it's all the tradition, all the celebration. It is part of the celebration of the Day of the Dead in Mexico.
My husband loved that sweet bread and the candy. That was his thing. So here we are. I made sure he had some sweet bread as well.
In Pittsburgh, Frida Herrera also made an altar dedicated to her and her husband's grandparents. She had the help of family members who were visiting from Mexico to put it up.
It was really nice to remember those days in Mexico when I was a child, to do it the oral ofrenda with my mom and my family there. So now I can do it with my son, to keep alive this tradition and keep alive our family.
While feeling connected with their ancestors, Frida, Maria, and Giovan also celebrate their home's culture in their new country. Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
And PSU hosted a drive-through cinema showing the Pixar movie Coco to celebrate Dias de los Muertos. The event was open to the community and held at the Bignell Family Center for the Arts.
Now, I'll tell you right now, if you haven't seen Coco,
so good.
Oh my gosh.
It is so good.
It is phenomenal, but I cried really hard in that movie. I'm not going to lie to you folks.
It was a beautiful story.
It was beautiful, and it hits home for a kids animated movie. Boy, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Yes. Something else you need to check out is this forecast. It's looking pretty good. It's just the wind that we have to contend with across the area. From our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin, you can see the flags blowing on the Liberty Building and on City Hall because it is breezy, but we've got those clear skies out there. It looks great. And it's a pinch warmer. It's chilly still, and with the wind, of course, that makes it feel a little cooler out there. But on camera, 32nd and range line, also clear skies. We're sitting at 45 in Joplin, 41 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures kind of holding steady across the area this morning. I forgot to take that out. Hopefully the kids are already on the bus. If they're not, I might have to take them to school today. And unfortunately, as I learned in kindergarten, just because you missed the bus does not mean that you don't have to go to school. I really genuinely believed that as a child. If you missed the bus, You don't have to go to school because you weren't on the bus. My mom proved otherwise. As we go through the day, we have got the sunny skies, maybe some clouds here and there. Temperatures above average a bit, just a little, mid to upper 60s. And the winds today start gusting 35, maybe even up to 40 miles an hour out of the south. So do be aware of that if you're traveling today. We're going to continue to warm up. In fact, we're going to go well above average heading into next week. We'll have a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, police have a suspect in the case of a shooting yesterday afternoon in Joplin. It happened on the 1800 block of the South Main Street. Police were called to investigate a report of a shooting with at least one victim, a juvenile male. Police believe the injuries are not life-threatening. Authorities say a suspect, also a juvenile male, was arrested without incident. He has been turned over to juvenile authorities. And investigators think they know the cause of yesterday's house fire in Joplin's North Heights neighborhood. The call came in around 7 yesterday morning. First responders saw smoke coming from the roof of a home on North Byers. Officials say it was an electrical fire and they determined it was accidental. No one was hurt. A crash in Barton County, Missouri yesterday morning claimed the life of a Nevada woman. Authorities say 67-year-old Diana Shopper was traveling east on Northwest 40th Road when she ran a stop sign and hit a pickup traveling down Highway 43. Shopper was killed at the scene. The driver of the pickup was not injured. Newton County is paying the city of Neosho $370,000 to settle a dispute over TIF payments. TIF stands for Tax Increment Financing. In 2021, the city of Neosho filed a lawsuit alleging that the county withheld TIF money owed to the city since 2015. That money was supposed to go to public improvement projects. In April of this year, a judge ruled in favor of the city, saying the county needed to restart repayments. A hearing was set for this month to determine how much money would be paid, but the two parties agreed to settle instead. However, the settlement price of $370,000 is significantly less than the alleged amount due of $917,000. Up next, with the days starting to get colder, that means winter virus will be making their return. We'll see how a shortage of RSV treatments can affect you. And later, all he wants to do was march in his high school band. We'll see how a high school student doesn't let his lack of sight stop him. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, consumers of soft drinks take note of a potential ingredient change to some beverages. The Food and Drug Administration may ban the use of brominated vegetable oil. The food additive is used in some store brand sodas and sports drinks to prevent citrus flavoring from separating and floating to the top. The agency says, quote, "The intended use of BVO in food is no longer considered safe," end quote. The proposed change comes after California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill last month prohibiting the sale of certain foods containing chemicals, including the BVO. And two New Jersey dentists and other oral care professionals joined forces to give a first responder a new smile. Dr. Jason Auerbach, CEO and founder of Riverside Oral Surgery Practices, and Dr. Dana Cassandra of DC Cosmetic Dentistry formed the Riverside Oral Surgery First Responders Initiative to donate restorative and cosmetic dental procedures to first responders. After careful consideration, doctors chose Ronnie Ramos, a detective with the Passaic County Sheriff's Office in New Jersey, as the first recipient, receiving a full mouth reconstruction using several tooth implants. The doctors plan to perform one transformation each year through the Smile Initiative. A shortage of RSV medications and vaccines is sparking fears that there could be a big spike in virus cases in the coming months. Doctors say there is an alternative that could help protect infants. Fox News senior correspondent Alicia Acuna has more.
As we head into the holiday season, hospitals are bracing for a surge of RSV cases among babies and young children.
We are seeing viruses in a way that we haven't before.
While there's no RSV vaccine for infants, the FDA approved a medication in July that provides short-term protection. The antibody must be given during RSV season for best results, but now demand is outpacing supply. The CDC urges doctors to reserve available doses for infants with a higher risk of complications, including those with heart and lung conditions.
For example, less than 6 months of age, calling around to see if they can locate it might be a great idea.
Healthcare providers are also making a push for pregnant mothers to get a recently approved RSV vaccine. When given during weeks 32 through 36 of pregnancy, the Pfizer shot reduces the risk of hospitalization for babies by more than 50% in the first 6 months after birth.
We are ramping up to start to administer the RSV vaccine to our pregnant patients.
And there's an urgent need to do so. CDC data shows as many as 80,000 children under 5 are hospitalized with the virus each year. Doctors urge parents waiting for medication to prioritize washing hands and making sure their children are up to date on other shots. In Denver, Alicia Acuna, Fox News.
We've got ourselves a warm and windy day today. Live look at the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. We've got clear skies out there. Winds today will start gusting upwards of 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour. But our temperatures also warming up right at or maybe slightly above average. Mostly clear skies, some clouds here and there. And we'll go into the mid to upper 60s today. We'll have another complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:15 now on this finally Friday. Our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Look at this beautiful sunrise out there. Still a little bit on the chilly side and definitely on the breezy side out there. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, showing those clear skies overhead as everyone gets ready for their finally Friday work day. And the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, also looking pretty darn good this morning as well. And take a look, our camera 7th in range line. Another nice shot of that sunrise. 45 in Joplin. Temperatures have been holding steady through the morning. South breeze at 14 makes it feel like it's about 39 degrees out there. We got 41s, Miami, Chetopa, Pittsburgh, Lamar, 44 in Chanute and Parsons, 45 Iola, 43 Yates Center, Neodesha and Fort Scott, 42 in Neosho, and 46 now down in Neosho, 47 in Cassville. On our way to a warm day, we're going to have sunny skies through the morning. Winds are going to start picking up, gusting upwards of 35 to 40 miles an hour, mid-50s by late morning. Breezy through the day, some partly cloudy skies, clouds here and there, otherwise not bad. Mid-upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s out west. Breezy through the evening, gusts to 25 and mild, so above average lows as we go back into the low to mid-50s. Don't forget to set your clock back an hour tomorrow as we fall back, but also our temperatures fall forward, spring forward. Yeah, so we go into the 70s through the weekend. It's near 80 Monday and Tuesday. Some rain chances on Tuesday and Thursday, and Thursday's rain will bring our temperatures down to at or just slightly below average, so not a big cool down out there, but we'll fall back into the upper 50s and lower 60s as we head toward the end of next week. Well, more than 2 months after the deadly wildfire in Hawaii's historic town of Lahaina, police are releasing body camera footage of some of the rescue efforts. Fox's Max Rodriguez reports.
For the first time, we're seeing footage from the Maui police officer's perspective as they jump into danger as the flames raged all around them. You gotta go! An officer throwing himself into a fence, creating an opening for people to escape the flames. You can hear the fear in the officer's voice. The Maui Police Department releasing video from the day of the wildfire disaster. Some of the footage showing officers going door to door, helping people leave their homes.
I have an individual who responded the next day, and he did not know if his wife and 2 small kids were okay, but he went out and he responded because it was the right thing to do.
The Maui Police Department releasing video cooperating with requests for information. More than 20 hours of video will be released from officers in Lahaina and upcountry.
Come on, everybody out. You saw people right after 3 o'clock making announcements to evacuate. You saw people going door to door and helping people out. You saw people conducting traffic. You saw people standing while there was propane tanks, and they were doing everything they could to put the fire out.
Chief John Pelletier says he hopes the videos show the real response from officers. Pelletier says they are still dissecting the response from August 8th, but there are already areas where policies could improve. Currently, it's policy for officers to turn on their body cameras once they arrive at the scene. He would like to change that to officers turning on their cameras once they are dispatched.
So let's say you're dispatched to an individual with a gun call. So as opposed to just arriving, then turn it on, let's get you in the response, because let's just say you're ambushed by the bad guy when you arrive. Now that incident, that bad guy's actions are now recorded versus that wouldn't happen. And so it's no fault of any officer not activating it.
Chief Pelletier says the department plans on releasing a preliminary after-action report at the start of next year, but says a full detailed report could take up to a couple of years to be released. Reporting from Maui, Max Rodriguez, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Certainly an incredible story, and lots of excellent stories coming out of Maui following the wildfires of people stepping up and doing the right thing. Well, coming up, a high school student set his sights on joining his high school band. We'll have more on that coming up. Well, a high school student is living out his dream of playing in his school's marching band. What makes this trumpet player so special is that he's blind.
But as Fox's Jade Fleury tells us, his blindness did not stop him or his band members from taking part in one of the most competitive competitions in the state.
I'm totally blind. I've been blind since birth. I was born that way.
Band member Nick Oliver started off as a piano player for the Sci-Fair band.
It's kind of tough, especially when you can't read the music. So for example, I can't read the printed music that everyone else can read, so I've had to learn to read Braille music.
But Sci-Fair band director John Nelson saw Nick's talent and knew he could develop him to march with the band.
He's such a good trumpet player. We started to figure out he can do this and he has the physical skills. How can we get him involved in the marching part of it?
Working together, band members help guide Nick on the field.
In terms of marching, because I can't remember like the field, I can't see what's around me. I just have to remember step sizes, the directions, pathways. It really comes down to muscle memory.
Our judges haven't even noticed all season long, so I think that's a big compliment to how well he's performing.
This week, the Sci-Fair band marched as one during the UIL 6A State Marching Band Championship in San Antonio.
It's taken the whole band's efforts. So, we've all had to work really hard at rehearsals. We've had to put forth all the effort we have, make every single rehearsal count.
Nick aspires to motivate other people to follow their dreams, no matter the barriers.
I also hope that I can inspire some other people who are facing some setbacks or challenges, and show them that they don't have to let that get in their way, that they can overcome them.
Certainly incredible.
Incredible. So inspiring, and he's really good, too. What
he
a talented
is.
young man.
Excellent talent, and the way they're all coming together to help him out on the field.
I know.
It's so seamless, too, just from one musician to the next, how they just move between them to make sure that he's in the right spot.
The tapping,
it's perfect.
It's great. I hope they win state. They deserve it. Well, coming up, the Neosho Air Force Junior ROTC celebrated the fall season last night. We'll hear more on that story in a bit.
And we've got ourselves a warm and windy day across the area. We're going to take another look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Students at Pitt State yesterday hosted a terrific day of play. It was hosted by the university's Therapeutic Recreation Program. The goal of the event is to provide a chance for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to try out different activities with recreational equipment. Some of that equipment includes hula hoops, parachutes, and kickballs.
Hands-on experience is extremely important for all of our students, whether they're in our major or not. Just having those opportunities to work with people that they may not see on a regular basis helps them to open their eyes to other opportunities that they may do once they graduate from Pittsburgh State.
The Day of Play was held at PSU's Plaster Center. And after 14 years, Uniontown High School now has a student-run newspaper teaching them the foundations of journalism. The newest issue of the Tallion is now available online and in print. Students say they took inspiration from the old issues and realized newspapers are like time capsules. The original newspaper died out in 2008 due to lack of interest from students, but now that's all changed.
Well, it was kind of cool when I brought it back to my house. My uncle was there and he was in the newspaper back when they were doing it, so he was like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
The next issue of Talon is set to release before Christmas break. And a Joplin organization is making sure babies in the NICU don't miss out on the value of stories. Sir Optimus International of Joplin donated $500 worth of books to the Ronald McDonald House. Those books will then go to the NICU at Freeman Hospital. Parents and volunteers will be able to read to the babies there, which experts say can help build language skills.
I was in the NICU. I didn't get to hold her as much as I wanted to. There was only certain times of the day, that I could be with her, to feed her, to bathe her, and so it was really important for me to have a way for me to share my voice with her.
Sir Optimus International also donated $500 to St. Mary's Elementary School for playground equipment, $2,500 to the Creative Learning Alliance's Capital Campaign, and $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Club's Smart Girls program. And the Joplin Public Library partnered with the Quapaw Nation to honor Native American Heritage Month. The post-art section of the library now features an exhibit with native art and cultural items from regional artists and collections.
We have a lot going on in the Quapaw Nation, and we just want people to know that we're still here. I go up and down East Arkansas talking to schools, universities about the Quapaws because that's our homeland, and I was shocked on how many people thought that we expired, that we don't exist anymore. So we're out there saying we are here, we're here to stay, and we're happy to share our story with you.
The exhibit will be open through November. The library was also the site of the launch of Ogopa Coffee's winter seasonal blend, Beaver Springs.
And we've got ourselves a warm and windy day across the area. Quick look outside, clear skies, Joplin and Pittsburgh. Temperatures again holding relatively steady. 45 in Joplin, 41 in Pittsburgh, but they will begin to warm through the day and the winds are going to pick up too. So if you're traveling east-west highways, be aware, southerly wind gust 35, maybe even up to 40 miles an hour out there. Otherwise, sunny skies, some clouds here and there this afternoon, especially in our northern counties. Highs right at or slightly above average as we go into the mid to upper 60s for us later today. Our warming trend is not done yet. We're going to talk about just how warm it's going to get with your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
And the Air Force ROTC program in Neosho brings together nearly 150 students. Last night they celebrated the fall season at the roller rink. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
A packed house at the roller skating rink in Neosho as JROTC students take over.
I like turtles. Of course.
And what's roller skates without a few tumbles? And what's JROTC without a few crazy kids? Despite the goofs and gags, the lessons these kids learn and the roles they learn to play in society is stressed by Chief Jeremiah Brewer.
It's like when you go out on your own, how do you deal with people? How do you it's a cadet run course, and so they have to work with each other and learn how to, when they go to a job, how do you deal with another employee that maybe you don't get along with? So they get to learn that now, where most students don't get that.
And after lessons taught by Chief Brewer, it's always good to blow off some steam, even if that means a little chaos ensues.
Join ROTC! And most of these kids, like you see it, it's like a family. But, when they come into the class, almost none of them know each other. And then they do so many events, and all our events are like community service events.
And for these kids, the relationships they build will help them develop even further.
I don't normally get to go out and do fun things, and it just makes me happy to be here with all my friends.
They're good friends, and they always have each other's back.
Well, one thing's for sure, these kids are having a ton of fun, and there's plenty of tumbles happening. It's just a good thing I'm not on skates. Reporting in Neosho, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Air Force JROTC does volunteer work throughout the community, and they're also accepting donations. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We have Shannon Becker joining us in studio to share his big 3 stories of the week.
And we've got a warm and windy day out there for us. Just how warm is it going to get? We've got those answers in your full forecast coming up.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello, live and local. That's how we do it. Number 3 this week. Yesterday, about 4 o'clock, a young man suffered a gunshot wound. Check this out. Multiple shots fired, and across the street, Visiting Angels blew out a window there from a stray bullet. No one was injured at Visiting Angels. That one person was injured on Main Street. Then, immediately afterward, we got word that someone was being arrested in the 1700 block of South Sargent. So we went there, and sure enough, confirmed by Captain William Davis of the Joplin Police Department, a teen shooter is in custody and a teen victim will survive. It's a story that's continuing to follow right here, KOAM News Now, breaking news. Our number 2 story last week, what I found out what the deer was doing in the library. You ready?
Yes.
Checking out the latest hunting regulations. Anyway, a deer in the library at McKinley Elementary School. This is a video I caught. I responded there super quick to check it out. Crazy, right? Ran into the library, just a short distance from the outside door. This is from Joplin Animal Control. My friend shared the video from the inside, what he was seeing, because he was there trying to get the deer out. If you could hear him, he's like, hey, move, come on, get out. He's talking to the deer and he's got some sort of stick or something, you know what animal control people have. So the deer though, oh yes sir, I'll do it. And just turned around and ran right out the library. Isn't that cool?
I love that.
Yeah, that's exclusive video. And it was minimal damage there. Of course, a lot of cleaning had to be done. See the hunting section. Missouri Department of Resources, Natural Resources, I'm sure he's looking up. And then our number 1 story, there's a picture from an airplane of a tractor trailer overturned, covering all lanes westbound I-44. The traffic was snarled for like 4 hours the other evening. M&M Wrecker. They got things cleaned up quickly, but the travesty, 40,000 pounds of Bath and Body Works. Japanese cherry blossom, the warm candy apple. This one was called Winter. There's a lot of
all the Christmas seasonal scents.
Alleged Christmas scents, I don't know.
Christmas is ruined.
For some people it could be ruined, but it's a great out for those guys, who want to say, hey, I was going to buy you some Bath and Body Works, but it got lost in this.
Right, there's a shortage
and
now.
It's in a dumpster, off to an insurance company. But no one was injured.
Thank goodness.
In that, which is amazing, right? And then our bonus story of the week, the Big Biscuit. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
People are talking about breakfast and lunch. They're in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. This probably their 25th opening. So people seem to be pretty excited about it. It's the former Panera location. Panera moved to 20th and Range Line. We've got the menu online right now if you want to check it out. There it is inside. So there's going to be a little bit, maybe 6 weeks before they get that built out there. They've been talking about it for quite a while, but anyway, their breakfast and lunch restaurant open 6:30 to 2:30 daily.
Perfect.
So you're not going to be hitting the nightclub at the Big Biscuit.
No, yeah, it's not for late night cravings.
That doesn't sound.
It's for those morning after kind of cravings.
Or when you don't sleep or anything like that.
Right. So. I can't wait. I love that. Who doesn't like a good breakfast spot?
Opening date unknown.
All right. Well, keep us posted on that, will you?
That's your bonus of the Big 3. KOAM News Now.
Thank you so much, Shannon. As always, great reporting, and I can't wait to see what you come up with next weekend.
All right. We'll have something.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We got more news coming up right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 7:42 a.m. on this finally Friday. Beautiful sunrise out there this morning. A little chilly, 45. Temperatures have been steady all morning long across the region, relatively steady. South breeze at 14 makes it feel like 39 out there. Temperatures around the region look about like this. 45 Carthage, 41 Pittsburgh, 43 Fort Scott, Iola, Yates Center, and Neodesha, as well as Miami and Grove. 42 Chatopa, Independence, and 41 Monette, Neosho, and Anderson this morning. We get our morning started. It's gusty winds this morning. They're going to be even gustier as we go through the morning into the afternoon. We're talking south wind gusts 35, maybe 40 miles an hour out there, but we're much warmer, mid-50s by late morning. When I was updating these graphics this morning from yesterday's temperatures, nearly all of them about 10 degrees warmer than the numbers that were in here yesterday. Partly cloudy skies by this afternoon, mainly in our northern counties, and right at or slightly above average as we go mid to upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s out there. Mild this evening as well, and will still be windy, gusts up to 25, and overnight lows above average in the low to mid 50s. Of course, don't forget to set your clocks back tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, though, the winds do begin to finally calm down for us. But that doesn't stop the warming. 70s this weekend, beautiful weekend out there. And then Monday, Tuesday, pushing near 80 degrees in November out there. But then we have some shower chances by Tuesday. Not bad on Wednesday. More showers Thursday. And that system, though, going to put our temperatures back in place right at or maybe slightly below average. So not a significant cool down, but it gets them right where they should be for this time of year. Upper 50s and lower 60s to close out next week. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Well, consumers will soon have to go back to school shopping for their Amazon clothes online. But after a brief attempt at opening physical clothing stores, the retail giant is now deciding to close shop on its new concept, Amazon Style. Amazon says the 2 locations in California and Ohio are set to close by November 9th. The decision comes after several other Amazon outlets have also shut down shop. The company says it is now focusing its physical store aspirations on its grocery outlets like Amazon Fresh and Whole Foods Market. A popular coffee chain says it's reinventing itself and going with more stores and less in costs. Starbucks unveiled a plan to open 17,000 new stores, aiming to bring its global total to 55,000 by 2030. The current count of stores sits at more than 38,000. The coffee chain says 3 out of every 4 new stores will be outside the U.S. Starbucks also wants fewer costs, aiming to cut them by $3 billion in the next 3 years. The company says $1 billion in savings will come from more efficient stores, and the other $2 billion will come from savings on its cost of goods sold. And it could be a record holiday shopping season for consumers despite more economic struggles. The National Retail Federation projects sales in November and December will rise by 3 to 4% from last year. That means sales in that 2-month period could be between $957.3 billion and $966.6 billion, the highest level on record. Even though holiday sales are expected to rise this year, the nation's largest retail trade group says it will still be at a slower pace than in the past decade. The projections come as consumers face persistent inflation and higher interest rates. And video games featuring heroic cupcakes, head-banging pigeons, and a guy who looks like Mario but isn't Mario are playable now. Rick Damigello swears these are real games in this report.
Welcome to Castaway Island.
Greetings! Welcome to the island. But this is no vacation. This is WarioWare Move It. The latest game in the WarioWare franchise pits players against over 200 microgames, which are like mini-games but measured in seconds, and is available now for Nintendo Switch. A fantasy RPG starring talking cupcakes? Yes. Yes, really. Battle Cakes drops players into a whimsical world where the inhabitants are pastries, go on adventures, and may choose to battle or befriend creatures like gumdroplins and flanpires. PC players can try the game now in early access as it continues its development. Well, you had me at 30 pigeon music battles. Headbangers Rhythm Royale flocks together 30 players in beak-to-beak rhythm-based minigames. The feathers fly when you become a headbanging pigeon on PC and current generation game consoles. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. A new project underway in South Carolina to keep wildlife and humans safe.
Folly Beach is installing turtle-friendly street lighting. Katie Solt explains what that means.
It's about lighting the way, replacing artificial with a different view along Folly's Beach.
Today we're witnessing the culmination of safety for people and wildlife.
Along East Ashley and Arctic Avenues, a crew working for Dominion Energy is putting up special lighting.
Dominion Energy has begun installation on 37 turtle-friendly streetlights.
The project is in partnership with the city. So what makes the new lights turtle-friendly?
Are amber in color. They operate on a different wavelength.
Working with natural lighting to keep hatching turtles on the right track.
Artificial lighting has the potential to disorient and confuse the turtle hatchlings.
That lighting can send turtles away from the ocean, endangering one of the Low Country's favorite species.
So when the little ones hatch, they'll see the moon over the ocean as bright white, which is what they're looking for by nature, and not the street light to head toward the road, so they'll head out to the water.
The new amber lights not only protect the ocean dwellers, but Folly folks too.
It also gives us light on the street and pathways for people to keep the people safe.
This lighting project is really an innovative and really long-term solution that's simply replacing existing street lighting we already had in place with the municipality here on Folly Beach.
Certainly an interesting way to take care of that
Gotta
problem.
save the turtles.
You have to, and as they mentioned, it also helps keep the folks there safe as well.
Absolutely.
So works
Win-win.
out for everyone. And something else that's going to work out for everyone is the warmer weather that's on the way. Let's take a quick look at Skywatch. Excuse me, the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Nothing on it on the local level. We've been mentioning the possibility for some partly cloudy skies later, mainly in our northern counties, and here's why. You can see there's a bit of a cloud shield off to our north, and it may clip our northern counties, giving us some partly cloudy skies up there. The rest of us, though, will end up being mostly clear like we are now. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line showing us plentiful sunshine, plentiful traffic as everyone gets their day underway on this finally Friday here in the 4 states. So otherwise, clear skies, partly cloudy for our northern counties, but not bad. Temperatures right at or potentially a little above average as we go mid-upper 60s, and of course west of 75 in Kansas may even make the lower 70s today. Our warming trend isn't done yet. We also still have the gusty winds. I want to remind folks, if you're traveling on any east-west roads, our south winds, they're gusting up to about 25 this morning. They're going to start gusting anywhere from 35, potentially upwards of 40 miles an hour by this afternoon, so do be aware of that. Our warming trend again continues into the weekend and into the start of next week. We're going to have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A crash in Barton County, Missouri yesterday morning claimed the life of a Nevada woman. Authorities say 67-year-old Diana Shopper was traveling east on Northwest 40th Road when she ran a stop sign and hit a pickup traveling down Highway 43. Shopper was killed at the scene. Police in Joplin have a suspect in the case of an afternoon shooting that happened on the 1800 block of South Main. Police were called to investigate a report of a shooting with at least one victim, a juvenile male. Authorities say a suspect, also a juvenile male, was arrested without incident. And investigators believe they know the cause of yesterday's house fire in Joplin's North Heights neighborhood. First responders saw smoke coming from the roof of a home on North Byers. Officials say it was an electrical fire, and they determined it was accidental. No one was hurt.
All right, highs today at or slightly above average, mid-upper 60s, maybe even some lower 70s. Partly cloudy skies for our northern counties and winds out of the south gusting 35, maybe 40 miles an hour through the afternoon. Still gusty this evening up to 25 miles an hour. Mild, mostly clear skies and warm overnight, at least above average as we go low to mid-50s. Don't forget to set your clocks back tomorrow. We're going to go in the 70s this weekend, a beautiful weekend, pushing near 80 Monday and Tuesday. Some shower chances Tuesday. Not bad Wednesday, shower chances Thursday. That system will put our temperatures back into place right at or maybe a little below average, so not a significant cool down out there as we go upper 50s, lower 60s to wrap up next week.
All right, and SeaWorld welcomed a new addition to their exhibits.
A baby emperor penguin hatched on September the 12th. Now, the hatchling was the first one of its species to be born at SeaWorld since 2010.
This footage from SeaWorld shows the moment the baby penguin cracked through its shell in an incubator. The footage also shows SeaWorld employees removing it from the hatched egg and giving it its first feed.
Oh, such a cute
It's
little
really
thing.
cute. I like that a lot.
Who doesn't want a pet penguin now?
Oh my gosh, I would die for one.
We need a penguin. Trevor, go get us a
Trevor.
penguin.
Happy birthday,
It's cold
Trevor.
enough in this studio most of the time. We could probably have a penguin habitat out here, that's for sure.
Absolutely good.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a happy and safe weekend, 4 States.